Hello, I'm Brother David Jardine. I'm a Church of Ireland clergyman, but also a member of a religious community in the Anglican Church called the Society of St. Francis. I worked for many years for Divine Healing Ministries, and we would like to invite you to the launch of a new book. Here it is. It's called Healing Words. That launch will be in St. Anne's Cathedral on Monday, the 1st of December at 7:30 p.m. The book has really two themes. It is the theme of prayer and the theme of healing. And it's a practical book. It will teach you how to pray. It'll teach you how to receive prayer for healing and how to pray for the healing of others. I have believed for a long time there is a great need for teaching on prayer in our churches today. And this book here will give some assistance in that direction. We're down here in a street called Morpeth Street, which is just on the Shankill Road. And when the Society of St. Francis came to Belfast in 1973, we lived here for 4 years in the middle of the Troubles. What I found very helpful at that time, and indeed still find very helpful to this day, is that part of our lifestyle is 3 hours of prayer and worship every day. That gave us a strength to cope with anything that was thrown at us here in this area. Now, it may well be that there aren't many people around who could afford the time to spend 3 hours in prayer and worship every day. Most people probably wouldn't even have the capacity to do that. But it's still vital that we take time to pray, spend time with God every day, and then keep in touch with Him as we move about. I would say that if all of us do that, that will help us to grow in our relationship with the Lord. I think that one of the greatest gifts that God has ever given me is the gift of forgiveness. I had to learn how to do it about 25 years ago when somebody upset me quite deeply. And the way in which I practice it is, as soon as somebody upsets me or hurts me, I start to bless them in the name of Jesus, and I keep it up for as long as it takes. It's all based on Luke chapter 6, where Jesus says, love your enemies, do good to those who treat you badly, and bless those who curse you. And I find that when I forgive in this way, very quickly, sometimes more quickly than even I imagine, my peace is restored, and also the way is opened up for a reconciliation with that person who has upset me. We're down here on the peace line between the Shankill and the Falls, and I think it's a reminder that if true and lasting peace is going to come to Northern Ireland, and not just absence of violence, that will have to involve forgiveness, blessing those who have hurt us, and keeping it up for as long as it takes. 40 years ago, I had to learn a particular way of praying that has stood me in good stead on many occasions since. I was living in New York in 1985, and a difficulty arose that caused me great anxiety. I had to learn how to practice Psalm 55, verse 24. Cast your burden upon the Lord, and He will sustain you. I took time to do that every morning, and then I simply refused to let Satan put the burden of anxiety back on my own shoulders again. What that did for me, it gave me a peace and a strength that I could have found in no other way. And the ultimate solution to the difficulty a few months down the line was better than anything that I could ever have thought up. So we'll be teaching in this book here the prayer of surrender. And I can safely say, because I've practiced it on many occasions, that when I give things to the Lord, surrender them to Him, hand them over to Him, they always go far better. In 1982, the Lord gave me the ability to listen to Him in a way that I had never known before. I was praying and fasting for the first time, and one of the things I was praying and fasting for was my spiritual life. And without me specifically asking for this gift, the Lord gave me the ability to listen in a completely new way. I can honestly say that up until then, most of my prayer had been talking to God, but being able to listen to Him transformed not only my spiritual life, but transformed my ministry as well. Up until then, I had thought up good ideas and went and put those into practice. But now, after he gave me this gift of listening, I took time to listen to God, got what his good ideas were, and then went and put those into practice. And I can assure you, God's good ideas were far better than anything that I could have thought up. So if you're like me for a large part of my Christian life, and you're not very good actually at listening to God, there's good advice in this book here as to how you can be given that gift as well. This cathedral will always be a very important place to me, because for almost 30 years, every Monday night, we held a service of divine healing here, a service that was only interrupted by the onset of COVID. It was also the first place where I received the ministry of prayer and the laying on of hands. The Reverend Cecil Kerr, a friend and colleague, had invited me to come to a healing service that he was taking here in the cathedral. And when he invited us to come forward and kneel at the communion rail and receive prayer, and as he laid his hands on me, I could feel the peace and the power and the healing of God flowing right through me. I knew there was something valuable in this ministry. It was the beginning of an adventure in the ministry of divine healing that goes on to this day. And that is why I will be delighted if you're able to come and join us at the launch of this book on Monday, the 1st of December at 7:30 p.m.